Our community is about to get spoiled today as I introduce you to Dr. Meghan Garcia-Webb, triple board certified in internal medicine, lifestyle medicine, and obesity medicine, bringing her patients the latest evidence-based therapies. And she is also a certified life coach. I love this. Through this unique combination of skills, Dr. Garcia-Webb has pioneered an innovative hybrid model of customized care. She has discovered a health solution blending the precision of weight medicine with the power of life coaching to bring you the most effective, sustainable, yes to that word, results. You've never tried anything like this because nothing like this has ever existed until now. Welcome, Megan. So excited.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here.
I think the place that I want to start, because this might start to just pull everything together for us naturally. I found this on your website. This fact that you're attuned to particular concerns of high achieving individuals, as well as the mindset traps that befall even the most organized personality. And this really resonates for me and the community that you're speaking over today, because I think the number one thing we hear is, why can't I have it together in all these other areas of my life? And for some reason, this area of weight management, I sabotage myself. I fall short. What is that? So I'm so excited to get your thoughts and what brought you into this very specific niche.
I think it's such a big frustration for so many people. I'm so high achieving. Why is this the one issue? And I like to just depersonalize it a little bit for people in that everybody's got something that they really want to improve on, regardless of how successful they are. We can all be improving and learning and growing. And if it's not weight for somebody, maybe it's alcohol, or maybe it's overwork, or maybe it's scrolling. There's so many ways that we can have our attention be scattered. But I think weight is particularly insidious because we tend to own a lot of the issues that we have when really we don't fully understand that we're living in a society that is really not very health promoting at all.
Hmm. hmm do you want to give a couple examples of that just for the listeners'
Oh,
purposes? Hmm
yes. One example is I find talking to patients and clients that as a society, we just tend to view breakfast and lunch as sort of disposable. Like they're just something to get through. There's something that's an inconvenience. And it's actually a really important part of your day is feeding yourself. And not only do we see them as disposable, but we also think that we can do five different things while we're doing them. And
Yes.
so I think you can have all the knowledge of what you should be eating, but if you don't pay attention while you're eating, it's not going to help you at all. And that's also links into this productivity culture that we have in American society, especially with people who are executives or doctors or teachers or people who are really on for the bulk of their career. They just want to go, go, go so fast. And that attitude, while it might be helpful when making decisions, is really not going to help you when you are eating.
Hmm. Yes, thank you. That's a beautiful example. And we see ourselves probably all the time do it as well as clients. And I think you're giving this prime example of high achieving equals maybe distraction is a huge piece. Do you have an overlaying going, if we could tackle these things that maybe a high achieving person doesn't understand that they're just naturally doing and why it's naturally working in other areas of life? Do you have some bullet points where you'd go, we need to focus here?
I do. I think that people really don't know when they're full. They know when they're really hungry and they know when they're overly full and uncomfortable, but they don't know when they're comfortably satisfied. And that instinct is kind of beaten out of us through school and through college and graduate, whatever track you're on, because it is this mentality of, oh, yeah, well, this is just something to get through so you can do the more important things in your life. And it takes time and it takes attention to figure out the nuances of your hunger. And so a lot of people don't understand that it's going to be frustrating and it's going to require a lot of patience. But I also want people to know this is a one-time investment. If you take the time now to really figure it out and really learn. And it sounds so obvious and basic, like I'm telling somebody how to breathe sometimes, but
Yes.
people really don't know. They have no clue. And so, aside from knowing the extremes of your hunger and your fullness, it's so important to get to know all the gray areas in between. And to do that, you have to stop and you have to be patient and you have to listen, and you're not going to get it right the first try. And so that's something that if I could just wave a magic wand and get everybody in America to be able to do, because we're able to do that when we're children. This is something that we all come programmed with. And so if I could wave a magic wand and get everybody to be able to do one thing, that is what I would do.
I love that. Yes. Trust was coming to my mind too, that one, it's taking the time to listen. And then I think self-trust has also been stripped away from so many of our individuals that even if they think they're listening, they're like, I don't know if I trust these feelings. I don't know what they mean. So there's a relearning process in there, or confidence building piece.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's part of what diet culture does is it teaches you, you can't trust your own body.
Mm.
And your body needs to be tightly managed. And if you don't get a hold of it and teach it these external rules and monitor it externally by all these metrics, the wheels are going to come off the bus.
Yes. So the other piece, and you were starting to allude to this, that emotional piece of what are we really hungry for? Why are we heading towards food? And if we're not giving ourselves enough time to understand that, or we don't have a belief system that, hey, just slowing down and relaxing might actually equal weight loss to you. Do you notice that you're up against resistance in this area, that it's hard for your clients to understand that slowing down could actually mean getting more success?
Right. I think one thing that we learn in medicine, and it probably is this way in different areas of careers, but it's slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So it takes time to learn these things. If you're doing a procedure in the emergency room, right? Like you want to learn how to do it well first. And then once you've correctly figured out how to do the procedure, then you can do it over and over and over and you get so efficient at it. And our brain really does want to get efficient. That's the beauty of the human brain is that we're programmed to get really good at something and do it over and over and over. And that could be used for good or for bad. So I think we have really fragmented attention spans, and it's only gotten worse over the last 10 years. And so I think people are even more impatient than they were. And that just makes the food issue worse because they're just eating faster and doing more. And so it really is so counter to that narrative of, hey, you do need to slow down. But if you learn this the right way, if you reprogram this, a year from now, this will be second nature to you. And it's not going to take a year, but it is that just being willing to take that initial investment of time. And this is what I work with people all the time. How do you know? What are the steps to do that? It takes time. It takes a willingness to get it wrong. And it takes a lot of self compassion as well, because a lot of times we are so used to beating ourselves up to success. And that can take you only so far. And I think with weight, it's so important to be really compassionate and curious as opposed to judgmental, because that makes it even harder to trust yourself and learn about your body.
I know that's my magic wand moment. If I could wave mine and make everyone truly believe, love yourself into change, we can't hate
Yeah,
ourselves into change,
right. Right.
that we'd expedite our success as well. And
Yeah.
I love that you're coming back around to the timing piece. The investment of time is worth it. And I think there's like a relaxation piece of people pictured using you as a coach. A hand holding feels better with this investment of time because there is a very direct route in which we would take them. Versus sometimes I think if somebody's going alone, that investment of time is nerve-wracking because they're like, I don't even know if I'm doing it right. So is it this investment of time worth my while? I guess this is a good time to ask you, at what point in your medical practice were you like the coaching piece is imperative?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, it was really after I got certified in obesity medicine, and I've been doing primary care for years.
Mhm.
And then it was still, okay, I have all this new information and all these new tools to bring to people. And it's still not always getting through. I have all this. Here it is. Here you go. We're going to fix it.
Yeah.
And you can give people information over and over. There's more information every day. And so I was looking around and I was like, I'm not the only one struggling with this. I think this is something that we in medicine just haven't gotten right yet. And I know that more and more we're learning about how important behavioral change is and different ways to do it. But I just thought, I don't think I'm going to find the answer to this within the traditional medical establishment. And then I just started looking around of like where else is this happening and where are people getting it right? And that's what brought me to coaching.
Mm, I love that story. I think every health professional has a moment where this clicks. It. A dietitian being like, I wish I had my psychology degree, or like the psychologist saying, I wish I had my nutrition degree, or the personal training wanting to be the dietitian. The dietitian wishes they had the. And I feel like
Right.
you were seeing that when the client has their dream team put together, their physician, their coach, then we can get to some sustainable results because we get to touch all areas. It isn't just one piece, is I guess where I'm going with that.
Right.
Anytime we're stuck in one lane, people need it all. And how do we give that to them? What
Yeah.
are some of your tools? What are some of your favorite things that you offer through your coaching and medical practice? And that could look anything like, do you put clients on an N body? We could talk GLP-1s. What's your natural path if I walked into your office and said I wanted weight loss that I would be witnessing with you?
Yeah, that's such a great question. One of the reasons why I love what I do is I think in a lot of traditional weight clinics, you meet with like six different people. It's in the same clinic, but the meetings are very siloed. So you meet with the doctor who might prescribe you medication, and then you might meet with the nutritionist who's going to plan for you, and then you might meet with a coach, but it's all these different pieces of information. And what I love that I'm able to do is you're just meeting me. I really keep it very high touch and focused, and we can do all of it in one. You don't have to have, I think sometimes the number of visits can be very burdensome for people. And I think a lot of people really feel like their weight such a project already, and they have jobs and they have other things that they need to do. So that's what I really love is that we can talk about all of these. And I've just seen everything so much now that it's very easy for me to figure out where to start with somebody. So to answer your question, if somebody walks in and they say, I really want help with my weight, the first question I always ask them is like, okay, why is your weight a problem for you? Because your weight is only a problem for me if it's a problem for you. I really feel like there's such a diversity of a genetic heritage, diversity of bodies that we really don't appreciate. And the scale is only one number. And you said body scans, body composition is so important. And so, why is your weight a problem? And then I can really figure out where to go from there. Like, is it a problem because you have pre-diabetes and your parents have diabetes, and this is really the concern that's keeping you up at night? Is it a problem because maybe your BMI isn't that much higher, but you really have a lot of compulsive overeating issues that nobody else knows about, but it's really a mental prison that you've created for yourself. And so there's so many different reasons why people have issues with their weight. And so that's where I like to start. And then from there, really figuring out, okay, is this somebody who is exhausted by trying a lot of different things and they really just want to start a medication first and see if that creates the momentum to make these other changes? Or is this somebody who, with a couple tweaks and sort of like mental chiropractics, we can kind of get them to the place where they can really do this on their own and they don't have medications that are going to be interfering with their weight loss and they don't have medical issues that are really going to interfere with that, and maybe they just need to give it a try in a different way.
These are such good answers. You're so describing how and why it has to be so individualized. There isn't a blanket statement of you walk in and we put you on this. It doesn't
Right.
work that way. And
No.
I praise you for that. Thank you. And I'm loving the mental chiropractic piece that I agree. Some people just, man, you have tweaks and you'd see so many changes. And then
Yeah.
other individuals, to your point, who have been beat down by so many processes and feel like the effort's been so extended that it's so nice to do a medication and just like get a little bit of ease for a
Right.
moment. so
Mhm.
that they can do the work on their end still, but release the pressure to some extent. So,
Right.
man, that is amazing. And I love how you said, why is your weight a problem for you? I thought you were going to just go with what's your why, which is kind of where I start. Ask
Mhm.
why till you cry. But the way you formulate that question even makes more sense. Have you ever had somebody be like, well, I've just been told it's a problem, but I don't mind my weight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'll have patients that their parent is a patient of mine and they're like, "Oh, you're going to see my daughter." And like HIPAA reasons, I can't confirm or deny these things. It's always a little tricky. But they'll be
Yeah.
like, "Daughter, my son's going to come see you and they're really struggling with their weight." And then the person comes in and they don't want to talk about weight at
They don't
all.
talk about weight. No.
They were
You're like,
like, "Oh,
wait,
my
do you?
elbow hurts." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Let's talk about that." So, yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely does come up. Or they just feel like, "Oh, doctors just always want to talk to me about my weight." And it's like, "Okay, is that what you want to talk about?" Because again, some people have larger bodies and it's not a
Yes.
problem for them. And metabolically, like things are okay. So, yeah, it's definitely
Mhm.
very individualized.
Yeah, and I love that you said metabolically things can be okay because I agree. When we start to look at body composition, when we start to look at lab work,
Mhm.
all the other seeing our insides, people can look very healthy and not fit the BMI schedule or range. I feel like you and I have a lot of undoing to do
Yeah.
of things that have been taught. And I just picture patients walking into your office and it's such a reprieve that you're not the physician that's going straight to weight as a cause. You're like, everything's, I look at it in its own separate entity. And I wanted to ask you about that too, because I think there's a lot of shame when people have been told they need to work on their weight for their whole life, when everything's been so weight focused, that at some point, anything that goes wrong with them, they feel like, surely it's my weight. Do you
Yes.
see that, or what's your talk to unravel that for somebody?
Well, I think when people come in like that, they've just started to learn that they're not acceptable. And I think
Mm,
that's just such a hard place to be. And a lot of times, those are people that really feel like in such a hurry to fix their weight because they feel like, okay, well, then I'll be more acceptable in whatever way. And to me, that's just very heartbreaking because they've equated something so fundamental with their weight when it really doesn't have to be like that.
they tie it very closely with
Yeah.
self-acceptance, and
Self-love.
it breaks my heart. It's just one of those things. I feel like I have these conversations with clients and they went in for something in their mouth and they're like blaming themselves that it's probably something else that I'm doing, that I'm like, you're allowed to just have a tooth infection, or like you're allowed to just have a UTI. This doesn't mean
Right.
that it's because of your weight. And
Right, right, absolutely. And I think a lot of people also blame it's my weight and my weight is because of my age or my weight is because of some particular life stage that they're at and they just had kids or maybe they're menopausal. And I just feel like that keeps us from asking more questions because
yeah.
I have so many people who are like, well, ever since I turned 30 or 35 or 50, but it's different for everybody. Nobody's coming in consistently and saying, well, like everybody else, I have turned 50 and all these things have happened, but it's such a different number for everybody. And especially for women, men have these weight related changes with age too, but they don't have menopause or perimenopause to really blame for that. So, and not that there aren't these real physical changes that happen at these stages of life, but I think when we just hang everything on that as the reason, we might be missing things that could actually make a big difference.
Thank you for highlighting that. You're right. Men don't have the stories linked to everything. Women have a lot more built-in stories that we tell ourselves or that our community tells us.
Yeah. And there's just
And
so
I,
many cha more changes that our bodies go through.
yes.
And there's so many natural fluctuations in a month in various decades. And so I think it is a little bit more alarming to live as a woman because there's always something that's changing. That is just something that women have to deal with more than men do.
Yeah, and to pull this back around to your high achieving population, it makes so much sense that we're able to push through, go too hard for X amount of years. And I've even heard other guests talk about how menopause and perimenopause is a blessing because there is a certain moment in our lives where you kind of can't get around some stuff anymore. Your body all of a sudden is like, nope. If you don't slow down, if you don't pay attention, if we don't address this, then you are going to stagnate or gain or
Right.
have other
Right.
struggles. Do you notice that?
Yeah, I do notice, especially mood-wise for women in menopause, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm so irritable, or I'm just so whatever. My family's they're rioting because I'm acting this certain way." And I'm not in the room when these things happen, but part of me's like, "Well, maybe you just have less bandwidth for behavior that's not really behavior that we want to tolerate." Maybe the issue, because I think a lot of women, especially in menopause, feel like they need to be fixed. Or like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to go on this medication to like calm down or like take the edge
Yeah.
off. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel like the edge is there for a reason. Let's keep it there. And maybe other people need to change. Maybe it's a wake-up call for other people that this isn't really acceptable behavior and you're not going to really tolerate it in the way that you might have 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think that part of that, I picture these women who pour from an empty cup all the time because they're the givers, they're the caretakers,
Right.
there. And there's just, again, it kind of fits the season of life to be like, you can't anymore. Your cup's been empty for too long. It's time to refuel on your end. I normally ask this at the end, but I'm kind of curious where you would go with this now. What am I not asking you that you would like for this community to hear? Or again, how your system works, what you would like the world to know that you are offering.
Oh, that's a great question. I would like people to know that it can be a lot easier than you think it's going to be. And your life can be healthier and you can like it more. It can be very win-win. And I think that's very difficult for people to envision because we've been taught that our weight is a project, it has to be fixed, you have to grind it out. And if that was the way, I would do that. But I don't think, and I know that that truly is not the way that it is most sustainable for people. And I think that is just such a foreign concept for people that they really can't wrap their head around. And so it does require, when you're starting this process, it requires some faith and investment of time. But I do think if people are ready, if they're ready to really figure it out in a way that they never have to figure it out again, it takes time, but in the long run, it's very efficient, then it's really, really worth it. And I just feel like nobody in America really knows how to eat, really knows how to enjoy their food. And you can do all that and be healthier. And to a lot of people, that just seems like absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think you're describing a lot of us are missing the foundational pieces. It feels like we have them. It feels like we understand what to put in the house or eat, but the reality is we forget to go back to the basics of like, are we eating enough fruits and vegetables? Are we drinking water? Where are we off balance? Are we sleeping? Gosh, sleep's the first and foremost thing I should have said. So it's just interesting that people want to bump up that ladder of needs where it's like, hang on, have we even met the bottom layer? Have we met the foundational pieces yet? And
Right.
I'm sure you get sleep deprived women in your office all the time.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a lot of it is like, how can we make this nicer for ourselves? All these people who are eating through lunch, the things that people do while they are having a meal, it's crazy. I was talking to a patient yesterday and they were telling me that they were having their breakfast and they were getting ready. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. You're walking around with your breakfast and you're like, walk me
Mhm.
through the logistics of this because I'm very confused. And I often ask people, like, is that fun for you? Do you want to keep doing this? Eating in your car? I have yet to have one person tell me that they really enjoy that. The idea that it could be in any way different, people have a lot of resistance to that. We're like, oh, and there's no way I could not eat in my car. And I'm like, there is 100% chance that you could not eat in your car, but it takes some mental recalibration.
Yes, I think you just hit the nail on the head of what I was trying to even ask earlier is this piece that there's a block sometimes for people that like, I don't do that. I won't do that. And it's like, how do we change the thinking that no, that's available to you. You're just choosing not to, or don't
Right.
understand that it's available to you.
Right. Right. They don't
Yeah.
understand that it's actually a choice. It's like that you can definitely not ever eat in your car again.
Mm,
That is available to you. I would encourage you to think about that. And then it's really working backwards of, okay, well, what are all the other things that would need to happen for you to not eat in your car? And what do you have to be thinking to not have eating in your car be something that's acceptable? Because if eating your car is getting you where you want to be, continue. But for
right.
most people, it's definitely not.
Yes, that's a great point. If we already were where we were happy and thriving, then don't change anything.
Right.
But
Then why are we talking, right?
yeah, yes. But being super open-minded to the idea that we probably have to change if we want to see change. And I think that's where a coach is so nice because somebody else can look across the table from us and gently guide us that direction. It's not offensive if the conversation's right.
Yeah, it's you can't read the label from inside the bottle. Doctors have doctors, coaches have coaches. It's so easy for you and me if somebody's telling us their narrative to be like, "Hey, did you notice that these things are coming up?" And a lot of times people just accepted it. I don't know what to do, but I don't want it to be this way. And that's where a lot of people come for help because they're like, "I need to change, but I'm not sure what." And I want to make sure I'm getting a benefit for my efforts, that I'm not spinning my wheels.
Yeah, which is making me want to ask you this. Do you feel like the weight loss piece? Because when I think high achieving, a lot of times when we work really hard, we can normally see some decently fast results. Study hard, see a grade. Run hard, get a faster time at something. And it doesn't really work that way with a body that needs time to change. So do you feel like frustration is one of those pieces that creeps in? Because
Oh,
if we
yeah.
tell somebody to relax or go slower or look at it a different way, they're not going to see an immediate result. And that's not sexy. Can't sell it, but like
Right.
it's sustainable.
Right. No, I think that's one of the biggest hurdles is you can't sprint your way to a lifestyle that you want that will be sustainable. You can crash diet. I always start out any meeting with people by saying, like, this is not about losing 20 pounds fast.
Mm,
You probably are going to lose those 20 pounds, but it's going to be a byproduct of these other things that you're focusing on. It's not the only thing that we're going to be focusing on. You're going to get much healthier, you're going to be losing weight, but that's not the North Star. The North Star is changing the behaviors that are causing these issues downstream. So it's kind of like gardening in a way. It's like you can't like speed garden. There's
you're
no
right.
way to do that. And so for a lot of people, they're like, okay, well, now I have to think about things, slow down, be a lot more introspective than I have been. And that can be, I think, for people who want immediate results, that's going to be really hard. But I think eventually people get to the point where like I've been sprinting a lot and it hasn't helped. So
Hmm.
I think I need to do something else. And then
Right.
I'm ready to examine alternative ways. But yeah, definitely.
I love that you can't speed garden. That was such a good visual. You're right. That's good. And you're right. I think that people hit a point where they're like, I have tried it my way for so long and it's not working. And that's my favorite client to get, honestly, is when that person comes in and they're like, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to listen because I'm ready for different results. I don't know about you. I feel like I've hit that in moments of life too. Old Lindsay would have been able to, in my 20s, go run more or go lift more and see changes in body. And I'm like, 45-year-old Lindsay's not like that. Like I have to figure out a new, but I always feel like it's a blessing because we treat ourselves differently and we don't pound the pavement as much and we rest more.
I always think if we're making a change, if you don't want to do this change when you're 80, don't do it now,
Hmm.
because there's no way it's going to last and you're just going to get frustrated. So a lot of people want, they're like, "Oh, should I intermittent fast?" It's like if you like it, if that feels freeing for you. Like my dad loves intermittent fasting. He is the best evangelist for intermittent fasting that has ever existed. And it is my nightmare. I would never no, no, thank you. But he loves it. And so it's so easy for him. And he's been doing it for, I don't know, years and years and years. So I think a lot of this is just getting to know yourself. It's not like how you wish you were, it's how you actually are.
Yes. Yes. And we can grow into an identity. So if we wish or want that identity, we can grow into it. But again, it takes time. And I love that you mentioned 80 because literally our community talks about what are we doing now that's going to make our 80-year-old self proud too.
Right.
So not only can we keep doing it at 80, but if we look back, we're going to be like, thank goodness I
Right.
did these efforts.
Right.
Hmm.
I invested the time. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm. And for you to be able to say, hey, if you like intermittent fasting or if you like this type of a workout, like, I think that's where people, again, from diet mentality, have been told what to like and what to do and the shoulds for
Yes.
so long
Yeah.
that when really asked, most people are like, I don't know what I really like to do in a form of a workout. I think I
Right.
like to walk. Oh, and it's such an interesting path to go down. What foods do you even really like or haven't liked because you were told you have to eat them? And all of a sudden you release the diet mentality piece. And it's like, I actually do like salads. I'd rather have a salad than a burger. But when we're in diet mode and deprivation mode, then
Right.
we want what we shouldn't have. It's
Right.
such a brain game.
There's so many ways to get to a healthier place. The social media narrative or the diet culture narrative is all like, do this, do these three things. And there's just so many options that are available to people
Yeah.
that can be very complementary to their life. If you like cooking, if you don't like cooking, if you
Mhm.
like high intensity working out, if you don't like that sort of workout, there's so many different ways to get healthier.
Mhm.
And just like there are so many ways that people get to a place where they're unhealthy, there are really a myriad of ways that they can like their life better, and it can be very sustainable and it can be easy.
Yes. And I can see people rolling their eyes like, I don't believe in easy.
Yeah.
I don't believe that and I agree with you when it fits your natural
Mhm.
path and your flow. But
Mhm.
again, I think I'm just encouraging listeners because I think it really takes some hand holding
Yeah.
to keep experimenting until you find the thing that's like, and there we go. My example with that was I had probably 4 years where I was like, I would love to see myself as doing yoga as a
Mm.
yogi,
Yeah.
and trying it in different ways, and just nothing fit until the one class time and the one studio with the heat piece. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like there, but if I would have given up, I never would have found that, or I would have been like, I guess that's just not for me. And I think the coaching piece lets people keep hanging on because
Right.
we're here to keep being like, hang on, you just haven't found it yet. Like you probably do like working out, you just don't know what form of it you like yet.
Yes. And I think that's such an important part that you bring up is really holding the belief for the client when they're not there yet and being like, no, don't give up on this. I
Mhm.
can see that this is important for you. The tendency is to get frustrated and give up. But I mean, a lot of times it's like just getting people to not quit is a
Great.
huge part of it because it's just a natural tendency. And especially when people have such fragmented attention spans now, I think it's even harder for people to do that. So that's where I think coaching is so helpful. It'd be like, I've seen this lots of times. I know where you are in the phase of change. And
Yes.
don't worry. Don't worry. You're going the right way. You can't see around the corner, but I can. Don't worry.
Right. I heard this once too, borrow my belief system till you can build your own.
Yeah.
And the coaching's perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so walk us through if people are going, oh, I love her. How do I get a physician that's like that? Where are best places to follow you, to find you?
Yes, they can go to my website, which is weightmedicinemd.com, and
Okay.
find out how I work with people as their doctor, if they're in Massachusetts, as their doctor and coach if they're in Massachusetts, or as their coach anywhere. And I also have a YouTube channel that's Weight Medicine with Dr. Megan. And there I talk mostly about the weight medicines themselves. That's really what my audience, they just want clarity on all the different things. I would love to talk more about lifestyle things as well, but a lot of
Your
it is
people
about
want. Mhm.
debunking all these myths about the medication too.
Yes, that's good. Okay, those links will be in the show notes. And that's good to know too, that they can go to a YouTube station and get some more insight that way and just binge on your content. So they
But not
can
while they're
see you.
eating. not while we're
Right.
eating. Yeah.
Yes. One thing at a time. We're
One thing.
talking
Yeah.
mindfulness, people.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And we could virtually see you, correct? Am I hearing
Yes.
you?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes. So if
Mhm.
you do not live in Massachusetts, I do see people location, regardless as their weight loss coach and happy to chat with people about what that might look like for them.
Fabulous. I'm loving this about podcasting. Just finding these professionals that even if we tried to seek it out, I would maybe still not find you. And then to be dumped into our community of like, this
Yeah.
exists
Yes, this is
and it's available to you. It's not even
exactly.
like this exists, but you have to fly to Megan. You can
Right, right.
actually
No, absolutely. Absolutely not.
use
So,
her. Yes. All right. Last closing out is just if you could wrap your arms around our community, pour some love over them. If they heard nothing else out of you, what would be their one thing you like hope and pray that they take with them?
hmm. So it's that getting healthy is easier than they think and that they are 100% in the driver's seat.
Mm.
And even if they have a crazy job or they have a lot of kids or they have travel a lot, it can happen for them, but you just have to really own your autonomy.
Yes, you're not excluded, right? Like anybody who goes, it works for them, but that's probably just not ever for me. We're taking that out of the equation.
Yes,
Everybody can
yes.
see success. Yes. Thank you. You've been amazing. I really appreciate your time and your wisdom and taking that with us today. So come back.
Thank you so much. This was a joy to talk with you. Thank you so much for having me on.